A good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A good Monday morning to you, ladies and gents. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening in to the now over 300 plus strong group that encompasses this podcast, which we call A Different View. Welcome in. Welcome in. Some Monday meditations, y'all. Some thoughts to think on. I just want to, excuse me, y'all. The voice is still getting, in fact, I tell you what, these allergies, man, sheesh, yikes, yowzers, and all the other terms that go into sicknesses, man. I tell you what, keep your body, since April is, we've gone over this about walking and all that kind of thing. We'll talk about May here in a minute. May is going to be a pop-in month, ladies and gentlemen. Around here on this podcast, it's going to be busy. Of course, different areas of the country, folks are going to be getting ready. The young people will be getting ready for graduations. They'll be getting ready for a very great deal, especially to the seniors, those switching out. I remember, again, I am of a person of a certain age, so to those who play this message to their 17, 18-year-olds, sometimes your 16-year-olds, parents, when you get into these situations, it's just going to be the word of life for everybody, man. I'm done. Like you've heard me say on this podcast a lot of times, guys, I'm done watching what I'm watching when it comes to people just not seeing the thing for what it is. We talked about this last movie that me and a buddy went to go see, which was Civil War, and how impactful that was, seeing it through the lens of the press, watching death and destruction, guys. We got to be, see again, talked about purpose a couple episodes on this podcast prior. We have to get okay with what really is dressing and keeping this planet, y'all. That's our purpose. And I don't even have a problem really repeating certain things, guys, because it's very necessary. These thoughts must enter and stay in the mind. Talking about meditating, because when we use this word on this platform now, I'm done on this idea of where people mock Asian meditation, to see we don't pay attention to our Asian brothers and sisters, where they mock Hinduistic meditation, because this is what these are normally the things meditation fall under when you hear certain words. And we're going to get into another one along the lines here about context. I am also, again, like we told y'all, my life had a different path when I was younger, so I got exposed to a lot of the internal workings. I don't really want to say it that way because life is very simple. There's no real mystical and spooky. The mystical spooky part comes out when people get involved. The spirit world is what it is with everything that goes on in it. This natural world is what it is with everything that goes on in it. Again, much of what you see in life right now is when people just don't pay attention. Speaking on a movie that had serious impact, me and my wife had a chance. I actually had to stop watching the movie because it was a little too real for me, y'all. And I'm not talking about the spiritual aspect of it. I'm talking about that which you see in real time happening, which is the deception that falls on the mind. And that's in this movie, A Devil's Advocate, if y'all haven't watched it. Again, for certain things or whatever may or may not be triggers for folks, I encourage y'all to watch it. Some of y'all who listen to my podcast may have already seen it. Awesome movie with both Keanu Reeves, Charlize Theron, for those of y'all who have watched The Italian Job and different movies that Miss Theron has been in. Very, very accomplished. And we can say it, good-looking actress. Again, I think people have a problem when it comes to just giving people compliments. Oh, was you cheating? Is you cheating on you? What did you? Again, because folks are too rigid when it comes to sex. There is some responsibility here, okay? Again, there are responsibilities here. You need to be letting your partner know what's going on in your head, so that certain things do not become a surprise. Okay? Right, because again, cheating and adultery, that is not cool. You wouldn't want somebody doing that behind your back. Don't do it to somebody else behind their back. Again, y'all have heard me mention this. For those who do not believe in open marriage, that's fine. But again, if you're going to do things behind the back, you might as well be up front and out in the open. Tell people from the jump and give them the choice to choose or not choose to be involved in that kind of a thing, y'all. Okay? As they put the term on it, lifestyle. So, the word meditation, dealing with an actus or practice of meditating. Ooh, you gotta love certain definitions, guys. It's almost silly. Anyway, meditation is the constant, being a noun, describing the active, constant motion of you meditating. Okay, so now. A written or spoken discourse, expressing considered thoughts on a subject. Some of the synonyms that go along with the word: contemplation, thought, thinking, musing, pondering, consideration. Consider. Don't know if we had done a podcast on this. Which kind of leads right into this. Let me see if I don't know if I left any notes on that word consider. But what a big word, consider. Yeah, I did. So we'll take a few minutes here just to walk down the road of the word consider, because I don't think people are doing it. Matter of fact, when it comes to civil war, I don't think y'all have really actually considered what you're asking for. Consider, the definition is to think carefully about something. See, again, I don't really think people are thinking carefully about a thing. Ladies and gentlemen, to those, this is just a word of truth here, because to everybody who moves somewhere, this is something that needs to be said to folks, because nobody is talking to people, right? I'm talking about out in the open, known knowledge. See, this planet we walk on has got known knowledge on it. You can study, you can touch, you can handle the grass, you can look at the plants, you can touch the water. Right? You can do, when you talk about barometric things, you can deal with the moisture in the air. Right? Barometric pressure and all that kind of thing. You're dealing with touching the moisture, being able to handle something enough to study the moisture in the air, right? Literally to the air, y'all. There ain't nothing down here on this planet the great God above has given us, that we cannot touch, taste, and see. Taste and see. That's why that verse is there. I know this isn't a Sunday message, but we'll keep rolling with it. We'll keep rolling with it, because we're going to get into this idea of context. I'm done on folks telling me what, and this is cool for what y'all believe and what you see in context is. Okay? But respectfully, everybody's thing on how they see a thing is how they see it. People really do waste a lot of time trying to convince a person of another thing. And I know this is the same kind of thing that you can say on this. Guys, we're not trying to convince you of anything on here. We are telling you exactly from what we have seen through life, and you either believe it or you don't. I'm not trying to convince you over here. That's why I don't waste time correcting people. I don't. I present thoughts. I present it. You can see any message, anything like that. I'm not really correcting you. We're just presenting even if you look on any Facebook page, Instagram post, anything, we are just showing you information and thoughts, and y'all accept it or you don't. I don't have time to convince folks, man. I got a lot going on in my life. I don't have time to convince you. Again, the idea of this is to, here's some info. Again, a different view, y'all. That's all this is. Many times we wasting time. We've gone into holy wars, man. You know, I was just looking up some stuff online about the different papal bulls. There's some base word for the different letters and edicts that the Pope has made over the years from, say, about the 1000s. See, I don't pay attention anymore to like 1776 That's where most people just kind of stop. In 1619, that's where you stop. When you really want to find out about this life, you got to go back further. And the information's there, by the way. There's a whole lot of hate going on, man. We're going to play a couple videos for y'all today, Lord willing, that deal in certain things here where we got to stop messing around, y'all. You know, now, this ain't the Sunday message. I wish I did this yesterday. But to my Christian brothers and sisters, also today's, before I go any further, shout out to my mom in heaven. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Born April 29th, 1944. See, again, guys, it's a good thing just to stop and speak on the thing in your own lives, whether you can't stand them or whether you love them. That's not to say that I can't stand my mother. She was a stalwart in my life for where I'm at now. But again, we're all about giving credit to whom credit's due on here. So before I go too far into this, there's some things that are very impactful that have made this podcast what it is. We're coming up to Mother's Day. And again, I know people poo-poo Halloween, y'all, but again, you're surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses. I get it. Spirits and stuff like that get a little spooky to folks because, again, the spirit world, very little do people know about. However, these people are around you, with you, the same way that which protects you is around you and with you. And it's just the quicker that we, again, like we say always, the quicker that we understand the thing, the better it becomes. This is a shout out to anybody's parents who may have been born on this day, who are either alive or not, exist with us on this plane or not. Shout out to you one time. Thank you, Mom. I love you. And away we go. Think carefully about something. Someone. Think carefully about. They just got the word something in here when you look online in parentheses. But think, y'all. See, this is what people are not doing. We're not thinking through a thing. Typically, matter of fact, I just want to put it out there now to get it. When you talk to me about context, stop telling me about the thing that is the first. So you read a sentence. So the context of a thing is the thing before and the thing after. That's primary context. Okay? And that's all well and good. That's not the all of context. And we as Christians have missed it because we're okay looking at Genesis and just doing the contextual thing with Genesis and Exodus and Leviticus, the Torah, right? So those 5 books. Excuse me. We will sprinkle in some things from, say, Judges, right? Are we good on the story of Samson and stuff like that? We're good on sprinkling in a little bit of the 4 Gospels. Maybe if you real get into your Bible study, you'll do a little bit of Isaiah. Normally that's where people go with Isaiah. Of course, you probably have read the story of Daniel in the lion's den, things of that nature. Guys, it's about going a little bit deeper. On this podcast, you're going to hear things that are a little bit deeper what they won't tell you. You take the knowledge for what it is or you don't, like me just talking about open marriage. Again, instead of you sitting there going behind your spouse's back, maybe if you do the thing up front, you'll get more respect that way. Whether a yes or a no, at least you're more respected that way than the harm that you'll cause doing it behind somebody's back. Talking about these things on sex, y'all, that's one of them, right? Infidelity is one of them. And before you start breaking down that word infidelity, because we use it too much, again, the Bible talks about when you're not caring for your household, you're worse than an infidel. You know, you're going out in the street. This is to bosses now. See, again, because the Bible talks to everybody, right? So the Bible also, a lot of verses in the Bible on how a boss is supposed to act. You go out, this is for me as a leader. I'm a leader on here on this podcast. Guys, the idea is to be without reproach. You start looking at some of these words here, it gets real impactful. It's a very serious thing when you step into a role of leadership. The fact that people discredit people already means you need to pump the brakes on how much of a leader you are until you understand that you need to stop causing division and start causing unification. That's why on here, y'all, when it comes to this thing about Israel and Palestine, I'm done. I'm done talking this pro-Israel thing. Not when the Bible is full of stories about how bad Israel has been, The four gospels is Jesus going, I won't call it to war, but we'll just use it because the terms, it helps. This is how people see things, unfortunately. Going to war. See, again, the Bible talks about how we do not wrestle against flesh and blood. Look, guys, we need to get out of the idea of everything is people, people, people on certain things. And realize that thoughts are driving people's minds to do things. And that's where the battle is, in the mind, not physically. This is why this information needs to get out here. And normally in war, it's one of the first. That's why I told y'all this. Since May, we're going to be coming up to Memorial Day, which we'll have a lovely conversation about Memorial Day. Because again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm done. You talk about a memorial to those black brothers and sisters who died for this country so people can have this thing the way it is and have a good old, if y'all remember baseball back in the day, which, you know, as far as it's talking about things with sports and stuff like that, as I told y'all, I can talk about a lot of different topics. So the fact that the Major League Baseball, you got jerseys becoming an issue now. With guys, we got to see. You don't understand that which has that was a shaped a thing. We're trying to live life. What's the analogy that came to me a couple of days ago? It's one that I heard in church a lot, but it's a real analogy that's used normally in the South and all that kind of things, where a lot of farming's going on, unless you're like, say, upstate New York, where a lot of farming is going on in places like as such. The cows out the back door of the barn, and you're trying to close the door to keep all the cows in. You can't, guys. You gotta keep the cow from running. The thing doesn't run out the back door. Now you're trying to close the door. You gotta catch that thing before it run out the back door. And this is what we look like, y'all. This is exactly what we look like. Another one in terms to raise from to rob from the farm, because again is where we get all our food that we get fat as can be from, right? We're getting them from farms somewhere. Shout out to the farmers one time. And your gardeners and these folks tending this earth. I know while they sit there and they got a problem with witches, guess what? Y'all operate in a certain level of magic. That's just, hey. I told y'all you're not going to see again, right? When you study the word magic, you're dealing with, you did look at the definition of the word. You're dealing with energy manipulation, y'all. Y'all manipulating energy to get that ground to be given forth fruit and corn, wheat, green beans, right? Beans, greens, tomatoes, yeah, all of that, right? Which I'm sure sounded very interesting with not 100% voice. But we got time to make fun of that during Thanksgiving, man. Y'all understand. We don't give credit because you are brainwashed to not give credit. Start giving proper credit to where credit's due, and we will have a more powerful Memorial Day than you've ever seen before. But I digress. We'll get into that topic down the road. Consider. Carefully think about something. Think about and be drawn toward a course of action. Before I made this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, we spoke on it briefly about my issues with doing it, the fears in doing it. Guys, you got to get out in that water. You got to walk on the water. Whether you drown in it, whether you flutter your feet a little bit and you need a hand getting up in it, don't worry, somebody will be there to give you a hand. That's another thing. Keep yourself around people who care about you. Stop. This world is full. Can I speak a thing to y'all? This world is full of misplaced competition. It's full of greed and hate toward people of all types, y'all. You have to be careful against that. This is why we mentioned this verse about the seed of the scornful. People okay making fun of a thing they should not. Constantly making fun of a thing that they should not. There's one thing to poke fun at certain things, y'all. See, because this is the next thing. Again, we're talking the defenses in the mind. This is the next thing that, you can't even joke about anything. Y'all too serious and yeah. But what about the other side of it where y'all joke too much? We can't talk about that part of it. That's not on the table. People joke about a thing too much. And normally right about the time that they're joking about a thing, the same way you can be too afraid on the other side of it. See, again, we need to pay attention more to our Asian brothers and sisters, man, on this planet. Balance and discipline and duality. We need to go back a little bit. We become so caught up in this consumeristic mess. Again, making money for the man, as my brothers and sisters, my so-called black brothers and sisters used to say back in the 60s and 70s, man, we need to go back there. Which another thing, shout out to those to these folks protesting in Colombia. I am done. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, a lot going on in the news lately, man. And I ain't even saying this election year thing because everybody keep falling in that trap. All you're seeing is what pops up in humanity. That's all this is. This is the same stuff that's there, whether it's an election year or not. You want to tell me that maybe because media is run by certain folks, again, we went over this term with the word media. Again, the things you see before your eyes and stuff. This is what media is. That's a media, plural of the word medium, dealing with what you see, right? So again, the people who own, because see, again, black folks still too much fighting. Like we talked about that whole thing happening in Memphis. Y'all can't have parties. You're allowing the stuff they gave you to screw you to continue to screw you. Start using it to help you. The guns they gave you there, guys, now use them for your defense. That's it. So we about this street code. Change the code. See, while we talk about the same thing out here in government, black folks have a chance. And everybody again, to my Latin brothers and sisters in the barrio, right? We're talking about everywhere. In Asian town, it don't matter where it is. When we're talking about cleaning up a thing, time to clean up a thing. You got Donald Trump sitting here with a Constitution, Bill Rights filled Bible, bunch of hypocritical mess. Talking about how it's about cleanup time. And if you notice, here's another thing, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever this time comes around, people get real quiet. They don't have nothing to say because they're going to say it at the polls, ladies and gentlemen. Folks know a thing. It's time for us to do it the opposite direction, y'all. And it ain't got to be violent. But again, stop. Listen, you guys believing in this Republican Democratic mess. It is a farce. It's, again, another holy notion taken. Yeah, government for people. Yeah, of course, government for people. Y'all know this government ain't for you. How much more do you need to keep seeing before you find out? And maybe that's what it is for folks. It's the unfortunate thing, like with Civil War and stuff like that. Before you find out this thing ain't for you. Anyway, regard someone or something as having a specified quality. We need to consider people. We need to consider their qualities, their specified qualities. People are not considering a thing anymore. The etymology of the word, which of course has, while it has Latin, as most things, got some Middle English to it. That's where you get consider from. It's a late Middle English word. I'm telling you, you talk about speaking the king's language. I go further with it. You speak in your captor's language. You living on the Americas. I'm American. You American, you don't have a clue what American actually sounds like. You speak in English. Again, you speak, and some people are okay with that. Let's just be honest here, ladies and gentlemen. Some people are okay with that. Oh, you don't like it so much, leave the country. How about this? Everybody keeps talking about that since, again, you are blinded to a certain thing because you have not considered something. You have not meditated upon something. So at the end of the day here, how about you keep telling me you look silly? This is the same thing to black folks. Y'all look silly. Always, and this is not, I rock the colors. So for anybody who ever, because there are some people on here who are friends of mine, all that kind of thing, family members, y'all ever see me rock the colors that are red, yellow, green, and black in various forms, because I will also use the colors that people mistake for Rastafarian colors. Everything I do, we're talking support for those who are not supported. So don't get shocked when you see me walk down, guys, with the colors of my people's nations and different nations. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit there and say I'm fully from there. I don't know, actually. This is the problem with black folks because of all the intermixing of folks. The way you brought over people from Africa, the people that Europeans discredited for already living here on these lands, all the way from California to New York. The Dakotas down to Texas and all in the middle. People living here. You know, we're coming up on Cinco de Mayo. Shout out to my Mexican brothers and sisters for standing up against European tyranny, y'all. You gonna crack open the beer, sip a thing of tequila, right? You gonna have a tortilla, a nacho chip. Let's get real with it, ladies and gentlemen, because we're not anymore. We got very fake. You gonna have a Corona. Forgive my pronunciation if I'm saying it wrong. Tecate, Dos Equis. You gonna drink from this earth and eat its food. Again, we talked about the diamond. You just want the shine on the diamond, but not the diamond itself. The process to get the diamond. We forget about that part. Talking about discrediting people walked on these lands. What you think? Who do you think Mexicans are, y'all? Now, as soon as I say it, I already know the defenses pop up in the mind because your master made sure that they would put there and ingrained in you real good for it to pop up as soon as the words come out of somebody's mouth talking about things like this. It's time to stop that, y'all, and let it go. Let it go. Recognize these people as folks whose ancestors walked these lands. See, stop talking about the Incans and the Mayans like they are evil people. And just start talking about them as people on these lands. Because you can do the same thing about folks today, how they're evil people. See, the fact that thought process is even in your mind is part of the mental conditioning you went through and your parents and parents before them and so on went through to pass it down to you. So that you would discredit and think the Mexican is only good for cutting somebody's grass and cleaning somebody's bathroom. Lord in heaven, help people push past these sick pseudo defenses in the mind. Lord, help somebody see it. You are looking, ladies and gentlemen, every day you stare at somebody who is Mexican, you are looking at the past in a present form. Ah, man, I hope somebody hears this, man. Whew. Good God, help someone, man. Stop discrediting people. Stop falling into the trap that has made this mess the way it is, that's got you loopholed where you got to pay a dumb amount of money at the gas station. You got to pay a dumb amount of money at the supermarket. You got to pay a dumb amount of money in the doctor's office. You can't go nowhere now without saving a thing. It's always spending. We have given in to that which is the brazen idol of consume and consummation. Now, when I use that word consummation, of course, we're talking, from marriage, consummating the marriage. But again, think about what happens during that time, y'all, since we have opened up certain things about sex, speaking on marriage here. Like I said, I wasn't going to do a whole sex episode. Isn't some take being involved there? You taking from someone's virginity, aren't you? Yeah, y'all have agreed to be together and all that kind of thing. That's where the consume part is coming from. You taking. So when you hear a consumer market and all that kind of thing, take out in your mind, look at that word consume. And look and see now the damage you cause by buying stuff all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, can I be quite blunt? The only thing you should be doing all the time, other than every week, shopping for clothes as you need, shopping for food and things as you need. Other than that, y'all, we ain't supposed to be out in these streets 24/7. It's a side note. They're making sure you stay right out there, spend your whole thing. You ain't gotta go spending that whole thing. Save that money for the mess that is coming, that they know will be coming, because they have set this thing up to screw you. Believe that. That's a financial tip right there for you. It doesn't matter whether you got one hay penny, just to rob an old English phrase, one penny to your name, or whether you got $5,000 or whether you got $5 million in the bit. The same principles apply. Stop feeding into this mess. They need you to screw you. Believe that. You got to think about the things that help and make you profit. All right, so consider Consider. It's funny. People have this idea of leave no soldier behind when you're talking about Memorial Day coming. Leave no soldier behind, but it's okay when it's okay though when it comes to like your neighbor and your kid. You know, it's the same thing. Leave no child behind. People showing their colors a little too much. Consider late 1400s, and we're gonna move on. To fix the mind upon for careful examination. Oh, look what else pops up there. Meditate upon. Ladies and gentlemen, when you hear the word meditate, I said all that to say, when you hear the word meditation, meditation is not talking about some weird spooky thing. It's about thinking. It's time people do a little bit more thinking. So, back to the topic at hand. Again, y'all, when folks come to me and start talking about a thing, I yikes. Okay? Because again, y'all, many of y'all, listen. It takes a lot, even for me, I still got a lot more process to go of this renewing of the mind, y'all. Come on, right? There's a lot of information to learn here. And I got a lot of life left in me. And for as long as I'm breathing, I'm going to keep learning it. I'm done on what? No, man, no. No, the truth is with this thing over in Palestine, y'all know, ain't nobody right. No, not one. That's what the Bible tells you, right? To go along with this idea that all have sinned. No. Nah, you know what? Let's just, and then we're going to take the back half of this for a few minutes to talk about something else, and then we're going to go on. We're going to go on about our day and enjoy this Monday, start this week off right. Don't be letting these fools mess with y'all and screw up your peace, because it ain't worth it. Romans, even to Europeans, God is still trying to talk. Right out to my Italian brothers and sisters. God, don't fall in the trap, man. Don't fall in the trap. Don't fall in the trap. I don't care about Christopher Columbus coming from y'all. Don't fall in the trap. Good and evil come out the same thing, right? Don't fall in the trap. Don't fall in the trap, man. Y'all already know Mussolini is just as bad sitting right there. And I'm sure there's some Italian brothers and sisters who actually think nothing was wrong with Mussolini. It's fine to whatever y'all think, so be it. Understand. Very plain and simple, being brought from a different verse, a different passage, somewhere in Scripture. Romans 3:10. As it is written, there is none righteous, no, not one. Skip down to 12 because I'm not. There's certain things people get caught off on, so we're just gonna go now. 12 then says, they are all gone out of the way. They are together become unprofitable. So there's a way that y'all can become together profitable? There is none that doeth good, no, not one. Their throat. This is good because it's necessary. You got to bring out that. No, again, I know I said I wasn't, but here we go anyway. Their throat is an open sepulcher, right? An open grave. I told y'all life is an open book test. You got the book right there. People are not paying attention to what's in the book. They are together become unprofitable. Oh, no, sorry. That's the verse before. Their throat is an open sepulcher. With their tongues they have used deceit. The poison of the asps, deceit, is under their lips. Full of cursing and bitterness. So, like May 4th is coming up. So we're talking about Star Wars. Yeah, shout out one time, including me. I will probably do an episode that day. So look for it. I'm telling y'all, May is going to be popping, man. Guys, Luke, so Empire Strikes Back. And we're gonna continue because that story is a powerful story, actually, y'all. Right? So, pulling away. Again, the Bible talks about, especially in the New Testament, we're reading one of the books in the New Testament right now, that talks about this idea when you get tempted, you get pulled away. Now, people get caught off in this idea of the word lust, since we're already talking about certain things sexually on this episode, right? So, lust. We're gonna break it down because I'm done hearing this thing about lust. When you look at the definition of the word lust, it deals with strong desire. But, gosh, man, for time I'm trying not to really get into all this. I'm trying not to, man. Wait. Okay, lust, very strong sexual desire. Okay, stop with the sex thing, right? Okay, that's just a noun. It's a verb. Here you go. Here we go. Noun. It's a very strong sexual desire. When you open up your thing, this is from the Oxford Dictionary. Passionate desire for something. Pause. Right there. Bang. Hold. Don't look at nothing else. Don't look at another thing, no matter which way you go, no matter how it is. Right there. Boom. A passionate desire for something. This is what humans have called lust. Your drive for something is called lust. The problem is when people get tempted. Now transpose the definition into a thing. Stop putting it as sexual. Sexual is only one thing that you could lust for. The fact, and me and other people who are overweight, guess another thing we have lusted for. That we lust for. Food. So, when you give yourself certain heart diseases, the blood, since we're talking about sex, right? Men, your male member down there, blood flow is necessary for that thing to do its thing when it's time to do the thing, huh? I'm so glad I put explicit content on this thing because there's certain things need to be said. So you got to get in shape if you want that thing operating better. Don't take the excuse to, hey, okay, Jay, man, my blood pressure, man, I'm sitting there, I'm a cool, 100 pounds overweight, but my blood pressure doing it. Don't see, again, the same person giving an excuse for racism be the same person giving an excuse for their overweightness. Stop doing that, right? That mentality is not going to help you. And slowly but surely, the fat will eat away at your body till it kills you. And normally it's prematurely. And normally it happens when you got kids. And normally it happens when you're trying to make some money and get some and be an influence in this world. Now your life, your precious life has been snuffed out because you could not control the strong, passionate desire for food. People have one for money. You got to be careful with these people constantly after money. Your lust for money. Your lust for power. See, these are things that talk about in Star Wars. Your lust for acknowledgement, which people take that out of context when they're dealing with people, with specifically with kids. And I haven't finished that whole thing on kids yet because it's a powerful thing. So we want to do it as proper thing here. That's why I haven't done it yet. Parents lust for power over their children. You got to be careful of these things. They're meant to hurt, not help. They're meant to hurt, not help. Let's say it again. They're meant to hurt, not help. What you think is helping is hurting, not helping. Okay? So we got to stop with this whole thing with this that lust. You just lusting after that woman. You're untrained. Because you've got societies where people walk around each other literally nude. Don't give me back world. Don't give me none of that. We're talking about people as has been, as is, will be. Folks, today, living in society, walking around nude with each other. Ain't nobody raping and knocking down each other. It is an attraction between people. The law of attraction that has been put here by the great creator. You like what you like, y'all. This is why I'm talking about this homosexual thing. What is wrong with you? What? See, again, we just no, that's twisted, KJ. No, you don't understand that. No, you're attracted to, if there is hetero, there is also homo. I know what you're reading in the Bible. I'm telling you. See, again, this is why people don't believe in God, because now you're making God look real contradictory. No, see, God, come on, man, KJ. God made sex. And, it's all that. Yeah, we hear what you're saying, but come on now, no, that homo thing. Why you got to question yourself? Why is it always on this homo thing? You had a king that had homosexual lovers. They made a book for a gift as a king back then, and then all of a sudden now everywhere you reading in this book is no homo this, no homo that. Real easy to see how people who have been jilted by lovers do things toward people. I know nobody thinks like this. Nobody thinks like this because you just on autopilot in your mind. You're on autopilot in your mind. You're not thinking about that, which is the great deity that you walk day to day with. So now the message you kick in the church house is that it's a relationship with Jesus. Your relationship with God. Okay, so if I got a relationship with God and Jesus, then I'm gonna know this deity, ain't I? Right? How we make fun of the folks who worship the sun and all this kind of thing, who in their mind that is God to them. That is the deity of deity. But I digress. Right? Because again, this is how we've been trained to look at people. We're not looking with respect. We're looking with disrespect. Put the respectful glasses on and it'll change your mindset. You'll be shocked what you see about people. Tribes and languages and thought processes and stuff. We got to go do digging now because y'all don't have them in the books readily for people to see. You got to go playing a game of Where's Waldo to find the information. What is wrong with y'all? Come on now. We make each other what was one of these things we read in one of these deals here? We make ourselves stronger, more profitable. That Bible verse we was just reading in Romans. The idea is to get more Anyway. Just give me 1 second. Get a little silent. Let me sip some water right here. My apologies. Because in reality, this ain't really that much to talk about. People either want to do a thing or they don't, man. I swear. Folks make up so much excuses to just not do a thing, man. Go around, be peaceful to people. See, this is a different thing than them trying to force something on somebody else. We ain't talking about forcing nothing on nobody else. We talking about living and let living down here. And again, those who are homosexual and transgender. See, again, only reason I keep mentioning these two is because this is where these two, same thing with this Israel-Palestine thing. Guys, it's a family fight. Stay out of it before we cause another September 11th because we think we so holy on some this is all Israel, F Palestine. We gotta stop doing that. Forget them Palestinians over there. Don't mean nothing for y'all thinking I'm saying something else. Now forget them Palestinians. It don't matter what they do. What is you saying? Oh, that Hamas thing, come on, KJ, that Hamas thing was horrible. Yeah, we know that was horrible. See, so are y'all just going to keep parroting the stuff they keep telling you? Or are we going to go back and dig and look at what's going on, that this is just a continuation of a family war that we got no business in? That I had dear brothers and sisters die September 11, 2001. Because this country can't keep its nose out of something. This government, which again is in bed with other governments. This is, again, history. Why are you saying that, Kate? I'm looking at history. And I'm seeing what happened then. Don't come here and kick that garbage to me that it ain't happening now. If the same government could move masses of people from Florida to Oklahoma in another form of the Trail of Tears, something y'all can look up right now. Matter of fact, when they talk about Seminoles, did you know Seminoles deal with black, dark-skinned people? Did you know that? It's a form of Indian that are dark-skinned people. You know, because everybody keeps putting the word Indian on everybody. When do we put on the respect glasses, y'all? When do we start seeing a thing for what it is? I could bring out more information like this to y'all. A lot of things that I found out over the way that I was not taught in school. It's sick what happens when greed is put into the game. Your life is at stake. This is not to make it spooky. This ain't about spooky. This is about consider. Consider the path that people have allowed themselves to go down in the name of all this mess. And I'm getting closer to 45 minutes here, so we go wrap up. I'm not trying to go too long, keep y'all here too long, so we'll just end on some positive stuff. Number one, shout out to Swerve Strickland. Hashtag AEW, hashtag where wrestlers wrestle, right? It's all good what they're doing in WWE and whether or not they want to be PG or not, but where wrestlers wrestle. Shout out to Swerve, man. At Black Brother, the first African-American AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Man, it's a good feeling, y'all. I know, for those who've been on top and they're okay passing back and forth the top like it's hacky sack. You know, back in the day out in the street, you get that little ball, you know, sewn together and all that kind of thing, and y'all kicking it back and forth. That's how they do it with wealth and whatnot and resources. Just having a good old party together. But somebody come up out the dirt, not meant to succeed. That includes in wrestling. Shout out one time to Swerve Strickland, man. And on the flip side, as far as AEW news goes, it's unfortunate to see what's going on with Max Caster and the Acclaimed in real life, because Max Caster is a rapper. He has said some things that have been a little bit taboo. People have an issue on certain things, which we understand, and to each their own. But it is just a shame. That group is interesting because Anthony Bowens is homosexual, and of course they wear out pink and black. And I know for the men on here who listen, they got a problem with pink. Understand that pink was used back in the day to represent you. Now, oh, you know, KJ, no, society's changed. Yeah, that's all well and good. Again, see, we're talking about sitting in the seat of the scornful. Pink was used to represent you. Happy that you were in this world in a pink outfit. Anyway. So it's unfortunate to see what's going on with the Acclaim. Shout out to the New York Rangers. As a hockey fan, again, we have mentioned this thing about hockey, so I pay attention. Most things where black folks have been involved in, I'm starting to realize in my life, I've always paid attention. So that's kind of cool. I grew up in the 90s. I grew up with the teams who were the winners. So, and I stayed with those teams. For those of y'all who going to get on this, oh, he's a bandwagoner. So, we'll name them as such. You got the New York Yankees, which, again, they're doing all right now. A little shaky in spots, but, you know, shout out to the New York Yankees. It was cool for me to find out that in the Negro Leagues, the black Yankees were a thing. So, most of the time, I rock those hats because, again, see, it's about promoting a thing that will give benefit, and when we push one group of people to the side, y'all, that's a problem. See, again, sports becomes a distraction, unfortunately. We try to get away from things that's real life. This is why people had a problem with the kneeling thing. Had nothing about the military. When you really get down to it, it was a distraction people didn't want to see. Like life stops. See, this is what I mean. When you get caught up in a thing that is for somebody else's total pleasure and benefit, and you accept that kind of mentality, and you don't consider a thing, and you bring that into your mindset, this is what you get, y'all. But again, understand, Redskins is a problem, so we gotta enter the table. This real life, there's no escape, okay? You can have some rest, you can have a little break here and there, but this idea, well, I don't want to see none of that ever. Guys, this is life, y'all. Unfortunately, see, again, if you don't want to see the thing, then be more proactive in your town, and your municipalities and towns when they come out with stuff, right? Be more active in your cities when they, hello, right? Nobody was making any fuss about all these migrants coming into these big cities anyway. They hushed you down, right? Because that's what they do. They hush you down. Again, the idea is to not do the January 6th garbage. You know, unfortunately, another one of these things in the news is about Harvey Weinstein and how one of his deals got overturned. I was going to play the videos, but again, for time's sake, we're going to go wrap up here. One of these videos we might get to next time around, because maybe some of these videos we will get to. But anyway, it's unfortunate part of his stuff is getting overturned because, again, this is going back all the way into the Me Too movement, y'all. Women ain't supposed to be raped, ain't supposed to be beat. Your help, the help, bro, your partner. The idea is you don't own nobody, you don't own your kids. Matter of fact, when you're talking from a Christian standpoint, you don't own you because you've been bought with a price. Anyway. People don't look at a certain thing. Everything is just me. It's just me. It's just been about me. What about me? I don't get it, man. I don't. Speaking of, because one of the things we're going to get into is with the Methodist Church, which we will get back into next time around. Another thing, Reggie Bush's trophy getting reinstated. Now, for y'all who have issues with college sports, again, people supposed to be getting. Now, you can blame this on the exorbitant amount of money that it takes to go to college, because for some odd reason, we have assumed the only way to get information to the young adults, as we call them, is to extort them for a ton of money. Because this is what we're good at. We're good at doing this hood mess. We're good at doing this street gangster stuff. And all you can do is just rob people for their money. Give them very little in return. And then when they come out of college, they can't do anything. They're barely getting to they're not lying to you. These kids aren't lying to you, man. Listen to them. But this is the problem. Those that you sit there and you work for every day, they pumping that garbage into you. And work is a universal term. I'm not just talking about where y'all go to work. Because again, is that they got you working this system for them, y'all. Again, the thing is not just for them; it's for you too. And again, it's more like 1, 2, 3 for me, 1 for you. That's not gonna get it done. That's not gonna get it done. So I understand there's some kickbacks and USC was involved in some stuff and all that kind of thing. But again, the man earned the stuff. If you want to change the game, y'all, if you really want to change the game, then you change it on a whole scale level. Doing this piecemeal mess ain't gonna work. I'm just saying. I know we're trying to do it that way to preserve a certain way of life, but guys, you gotta ask yourself, is the certain way of life you live in the right course? We do it with our own lives, don't we? When we change up, can't do it in government. I guess that just stop. Got a little note here. This economy is set up for us to consume ourselves to death. Consume ourselves to death, y'all. We're going to end here on this. I said we were going to end with, I know we're at 50 minutes, a little past 50 minutes, so we're going to end with this. Do not stop blaming people when circumstances that occur, then have them have certain actions. And you blame them or judge them or correct them on those actions. What do I mean by that? Certain perfect storm things happen. I'll use Jackie Robinson as an example. People do this garbage. Because it's easier to judge a certain way than it is another way. So, he's getting death threats. He rears back in anger. Says something about those death threats that certain people might not like. Then they blame and judge Jackie Robinson instead of dealing with the death threats that put undue stress on Jackie Robinson. That then, as soon as I'm saying these words, I already know the defense is in the mind. That then caused Jackie to say a thing. We won't ever deal with that part of it. So, for instance, you got people living and working and all these kinds of things in very racist environments. They have to go through this mess every day. We know they are going through this mess every day. Then when they flip out, then when something happens, an argument, whatever it might be, that's where you do the judging. See, man, if they would just get it, they just got to keep, I know it's not cool, but they got to keep persevering. And, when you're a leader, you just got to, ladies and gentlemen, that is a very lazy, superficial, horrible way in which you treat men and women. That would be like the Good Samaritan on the side of the road. And what you do. Man, if you just didn't get on this road here, these people would have never beat you and you'd have been on your way, man. You could have already been to Sunday dinner by now, man. What are you doing on the road here? You bleeding and dying. No, that wasn't how people acted. See, that type of judgment is very superficial. But when you want to get down and help somebody, you get down there and you help somebody, don't matter how. See, Jesus could have not defended that woman caught in adultery because guess what? They caught her right, didn't they? They caught her red-handed right in adultery. She wrong, stoned that woman. What was Jesus's response? And I'll leave it there with y'all because I already know it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for walking on this road today with me. Again, shout out one time to Swerve Strickland. Hey, man. That's been a long time coming. Good stuff to see. Very, very good stuff to see. We'll see what holds in the playoffs for the New York Rangers. And New York strong over here, right? Just like we hope you are proud of your teams, whether they be in the playoffs or not, wherever you're from. Look out for each other, y'all. That's just a very true thing I could say, man. Look out for each other, y'all. And, as always, look to find the beauty in a different view.